Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me this morning, and I hope everyone's having a productive day and you're all focused for the week ahead. This is going to be the third video that I've done on this subject. And this story, I really will not let up on it. I don't care how long it takes. I will always keep speaking about these two women that lost their lives, that were brutally murdered. This case has been weird from the beginning. The fact that it took so long for the girls to actually be found, and it's now emerged that the mother of these two women actually organised the search for them, and also a lot of assumptions made online about what was going on and also who these women were initially. It has now emerged that two police officers have been arrested and suspended for actually taking pictures with their dead bodies at the crime scene following the brutal murder of these two women. The killer of these two women is still at large as well. They haven't been caught. The police believe that it's a man and he has injuries to his hand, but they've released no CCTV footage, and even weeks later, no one has even been arrested or charged. So there is a killer still active in northwest London, and I don't think this has got the same publicity that the Jodie Chesney case got. First we'll do the update. Please go and check out the other videos that I've done, but the first update, and then we're going to talk about the police officers that have been arrested. The heartbroken family of the two sisters that were stabbed to death in Wembley have spoken about their devastation and made a plea to the public. The parents of 46-year-old Bibaa Henry and 27-year-old Nicole Smallman have made the following statement. And the fact that was in the park on the night, this was locked down June the 4th. Nobody was allowed round anyone's houses. So a way that adults and younger people were being able to meet up together was actually in parks. So I think the assumption initially that some people that I've seen in the comments say was that they thought there was there like for other reasons, which is it's just not right. Their mother said the greatest fear of any parent is that they outlive their children. What makes our situation unique is that our two adored sisters were murdered together on the same night. The grief we feel is palpable. Our beautiful and talented daughters are gone. Although there is a large age gap between them, they shared a lot of the same interests. They were both interested in the arts. Bibaa was a hard-working professional who was an exceptional senior social worker and a passionate advocate for safeguarding vulnerable children and families. Before qualifying and to earn some extra cash, she would transport disabled children to other activities around the city. At her side at the car seat, she would have our granddaughter. She was only a couple of months old. Her passengers loved them both. She knew all of their names, and Bibaa would have them singing as they drove along. Bibaa loved her family and she was proud of her gifts, talent and parents. Bibaa's father was called Herman, having been a former ABA featherweight champion and also a businessman, setting up his own building contracting company. Her mother used to be a teacher and then trained later for the priesthood. They said that Bibaa was actually very small. She was 5 foot, but they said she had the heart of a lion and a smile that would put Blackpool Illuminations to shame. Nicole was the youngest of the three sisters, and she was a joy from the moment she entered the world, her mother says. Nicole saw beauty in everything, and she was very calm and positive attitude towards everything in life. She was a strong advocate for humanitarian causes and saving the planet. Her father Christopher and I would laugh together, agreeing Nicole was the child of the 60s. She was a hippie, she was an amazing photographer, actor and singer. Her singing voice was silky smooth. Her voice teacher at school said she could do radio or TV presenting. Friends and family all agree she was beautiful both inside and out. Nicole was incredible, laid back and very approachable. Nowadays we would be referred to as a blended family, but that is not how we see ourselves. It's not something we would be happy to be said of us. Bibaa and Nicole were sisters. Their untimely death will spend the rest of our lives trying to come to terms with. The tribute to our girls has been flooding in, and I must say as well, none of this is in the paper. This is on the Metropolitan Police website. The paper hasn't even taken these big speeches and the backstory to the family to actually give context. They're appealing to anybody that can help, and the detective in charge of the case said they are following a recent appeal after 100 calls from members of the public who provided information which my officers are now in the process of going through. We are thankful to the response and want everyone to continue to help. Extensive searches are ongoing in the scene and we are discovering more evidence every day. Any motive for the murders remains unknown and they are exploring all possibilities. They said this was before these police was arrested. They say the meticulous work that is being carried out. But we have now determined that that work wasn't very meticulous. Nicole and Bibaa was alone in the park at 12:30. Their friends arrived at 6 in the evening and they begin to drift away at 10. So that they know that there was alone at that time. The last time they spoke to family and friends was at 1:15 in the morning. They were in good spirits and taking selfie pictures, listening to music and dancing with fairy lights. The lights created a distinctive pattern and the images that was shown by the police released afterwards shows them in the field. This was the last picture of them. They believe that this may have been noticeable to residents and this is something that I definitely don't understand with this situation. How was somebody able to attack 2 women 100 yards away from homes and no one heard any screaming or calls for help? And there was dancing with lights on. There was literally lit up like a Christmas tree. The police have seized CCTV footage from around the park and the surrounding roads. And they are requiring dashcam footage as well. They believe the suspect received a significant injury, 1 or more, during the incident. They are saying it could be someone's loved one, a neighbour, a colleague, a friend. So this may not just be who you assume, like somebody with severe problems going around killing people, maybe somebody who's easily noticeable as having that. This could be anyone. This could be an office worker, this could be a boss. And now, of course, with what's happening in the case, people are beginning to wonder whether there's some involvement from the police. Police were called to Fryent Country Park off Slough Lane at 1:08 on Sunday the 7th of June to reports of women found unresponsive. This was 2 days after they went missing. And this was the last place that was also seen. Officers and London Ambulance Service attended the scene and they was pronounced dead. They were sisters Nicole Smallman, 27, and Bibaa Henry, 46. They lived in Harrow and Brent. Their bodies were discovered next to each other in a tree line. A post-mortem examination conducted on Tuesday the 9th of June said the cause of death was stab wounds. Nicole and Bibaa were in a group of people who congregated in the park at around 20 to 8 on Friday to celebrate Bibaa's 46th birthday. Gradually, people believed to have left throughout the evening until Nicole and Bibaa was alone. Officers believed it was murdered within the next couple of hours. And in the most recent developments, when the police have been arrested for the crime scene, the mother of the murdered daughters has told the Guardian newspaper that the bodies were allegedly photographed and the police shared them on a WhatsApp group. They have blasted police officers and the culture of the force and has claimed that racial stereotyping played a part in the case. They are the daughters of a pioneering cleric, Mina Smallman, the Church of England's first female archdeacon from a black and ethnic minority background. The case is being investigated by the police watchdog now. And on Monday, they arrested 2 police officers. So the only arrest in this actual double murder has been police. Mina Smallman used an interview with the BBC to put her family's horrifying experience into context and the treatment that they've been enduring because of race. According to the interview, she said, if ever we needed an example of how toxic it has become, those police officers felt so safe and so untouchable that they felt they could take photographs of dead black girls and send them on. It speaks volumes of the ethos that runs through the Metropolitan Police. Smallman said the taking of the photos, which showed the faces of their daughters, dehumanised her children, and she feared that they could be posted on the internet. They were nothing to them, and that's what's worse, they sent them on to members of the public. Smallman said the photos had taken her grief to another place, and her comments will add to the claims that the Met Police had failed to get to grips with racism, as demonstrations inspired by Black Lives Matter movements continue. The sisters were reported missing after Bibaa's birthday, and police believed they were stabbed by a stranger who was injured in the attack and is still at large. No arrests, no CCTV, no description of the person has been released. The bodies were not found for 2 days, and in fact one of their boyfriends who went back to the area when there was last seen. The Independent Office of Police Conduct said investigation will consider if racism led to the officer's alleged actions. The police watchdog is also examining if the search of the two sisters after they were reported missing was bungled. And when they say bungled, that's a good way of saying that they didn't do it for some other reasons. 2 officers have been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in a public office and suspended from duty. The allegations were reported to the Met's Directorate of Professional Standards. This is just disgusting. I'm so angry, I can't even put into words. Imagine this was your sister. Imagine this was your family. And someone took a selfie with their dead body. Police, like somebody said the other day, they've got to have a certain level of humour with this job. But at the same time, you have to have the utmost respect for the victims and also treat everybody the same. So I'm not going to stop following this story, and I'm not going to stop following this case to do with the police. I know in the last few weeks, we've had some really dividing stories on the channel to do with the Black Lives Matter protests or terror attacks or be it rival protests as well. But I really want you to understand that I'm open to all stories. I want you to leave your comments about good feedback. Let's have some constructive conversations, and I'm open to all of them. So send me your stories on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'll be sure to make sure that I try and include as many as I can. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I hope everyone's okay. Have a good weekend, and I'll be back again really soon. Peace. And rest in peace to Bibaa and Nicole Smallman.
The worst punishment that people encounter are things that are said to one another, that cannot be rubbed away. A prayer I say often for people is, be guardian of our eyes, our ears, and our mouth. Because the things that we have seen, the things that we have heard, and the things that we have said stay often for a lifetime.